All right, it's Labor Day weekend. I'm going to call this my biannual toys photographing. Bought this truck with just a few miles on it. It's a 2007.3 diesel F250. The epitome of what a truck should have been from day one. This truck has never needed repairs, makes really decent mileage, has good power. It is the one that everybody wants. And yes, I can hear the comments now. That's not a 2000. Well, we put later model front end on it. My son thought it looked better. This last time I took a photograph, added a package rack. Seems like we tend to overbuy when we're at a swap meet. Need a little more room. My most recent acquisition previously belonged to a very good friend who passed away. I am so proud to have this car. Can't wait to get a few of the things that it needs done. Take it out and enjoy it. One of the things that he didn't really get to do, drive it very much. Just a completely stock, almost totally original, absolutely rust free because it was wrecked when it was a fairly new car, never got repaired. Stock 292, you know, not what you call a fast car, but just a beautiful driver. Power rack and pinions been added, disc brakes have been added, power disc brakes. Has the automatic, wish it had a 3-speed overdrive, but you can maybe change that someday, who knows. My little T-Bird, I call this my next victim. After I got the Fairlane gasser done, I just really, man, gassers for me, that's where it's always been. I don't know how they ever went out of style or why I didn't have gassers my entire life. But that car is really, the Fairlane's really not a drivable car. It has a 527 cubic inch roller cammed monster of an engine. So I want to build something that I can drive. My plan is to put an axle very much like this one under this car, put a Coyote in it, and have a gasser that will drive and ride nice and make good mileage and have enough power to go fast. Now, the go fast part of it is, this may not be what you think it is, and you need to do a Google search on Shea Motor Company. A genius by the name of Harry Shea somehow talked Ford into licensing him to build brand new Model A's and then Model 55 Thunderbirds, as they were called, for Ford to sell in the Ford dealerships. And this is one of them. I actually think this is probably one of the first, if not the first, 55 Thunderbird built by Shea. Its VIN number makes it a car that was built when they were building Model A's. I'm not too sure, this might not have been the car they put together to show the executives, this is what we're going to build. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it. And of course, my lifelong, whatever you want to call it, I've had this car my entire adult life. Finally got it finished the way it will probably always be, just a couple of years ago. And what I found out is, when you build something like this, the only way you can really get it to a show is to trailer it, and that takes a lot of the fun out of going to a show. I'm just not enough of a teenager anymore to jump in a beast like this and run down the highway. And my fear is this whole front end being a hand-built fiberglass by the original racer. I don't know what you would do if anything ever happened to this car. You could never replace those parts. You know, they're a one-of-a-kind, one only, that Gary Ward actually built himself. Ward Manufacturing, that's what they did, was fiberglass. all of his race cars were fiberglass, which brings up back to this car. When I was a young boy, Gary Ward first raced this car, and then to get to a lighter, faster car, he built a 55 Thunderbird named Tweety Bird, and it was the fastest gasser in the area. He was our local drag racing hero. My intention is to build a tribute to Tweety Bird using this car, and being this is a Shay and the engine in it weighs the same as a Coyote, this is a 2,700 pound car versus a real Thunderbird, which is 1,000 pounds heavier. So it should be scary fast with a Coyote in it. All I gotta do is get it done. And then the car that I built when I quit drag racing, the 57, because the 57 was just too risky to be running down the track anymore, being what it is, I built this car. 1990 LX, 12-point cage, a 557 cubic inch Super Cobra Jet headed Ford. It's got all the things you might ever think you wanted in a drag car, and yet it is still basically stock. The chassis is stock, and it's a wheels up, goes like hell, 10-second car. It's fun. And the last time I took a toys picture, this truck was a 2-wheel drive 1-ton, and I did not much like the truck from the day I finished it. But now, as a high boy, I'm in love with it. It drives better than the old twin I-beam 1-ton did with the weight of the diesel on it. It has a 6.9 with a Banks Sidewinder turbo setup on it. It has 350 gears, a little backwards to what most guys would ever do. A lunchbox locker in the back and a limited slip up front. A gear vendor overdrive between the transfer case and the transmission. And I almost hate to say it because so many people will not believe it, but this truck at 55 miles an hour makes 20 miles to the gallon without even trying. Cruise control on, air conditioner running, wind blowing against you, it will make 20 miles to the gallon. So I am just so pleased with this project. It drives good. I put electric power steering on it. And because of the way I did the chassis, I have a 40-gallon rear tank. Notice there's fuel doors in the bed, not a fuel filler neck in the cab. So there's a 40-gallon tank in the rear and a 15-gallon tank. Yeah, maybe I could have done a better job of hiding it, but what the hell? When you got this much crap hanging down out from under a truck, what difference does it make, right? So, as of September 2022, that's my toys.